Open world games were once a thriving genre. Now, a husk of what it used to be. Corporate greed slowly killing off open world games with maps that are a mile wide, but not even an inch deep. Why do I want to run through this empty world, with the occasional filler content, instead of just fast traveling where I need to go? And what's the point of the open world if I only ever skip through it? Rasputin makes fantastic video essays on these topics, these two videos being prime examples of my, and many others' issues with massive open world games. But I apologise for the clickbait, as this is not a video essay. This is a devlog. I'm making an open world game that attempts to address these main issues, as well as add in a couple of twists of my own. To put it simply, this game is going to be a miniature open world game. The map itself isn't that large, which means I can focus more time and effort into perfecting the design of each area. You have a map of course, but no map marker, you need to figure out where you are yourself. Basically 99% of open world games are built around map markers. Skyrim is a big one, just face the marker and walk in that direction, or just fast travel to that location. Need to find a character? Don't worry, there is a real-time map marker right above their head so you know exactly where they are at all times. To be fair, that's useful if an NPC glitches. But regardless, it makes traveling mind-numbingly brainless, not to mention how it breaks immersion. Instead, in my game, you'll have a compass, and clues like signs at road forks, obvious landmarks, and if you're really lost, you can ask an NPC where you are. A lot of planning has gone into this and it's very bare bones, but I will be releasing devlogs on the progress as I work on it. But let's go right back to the start. In 2019, I picked up Unreal Engine for the first time. I had a couple years experience of Unity at the time, as I made games with my friends at school, so I picked it up relatively quickly. And in 3 days, I'd made a prototype of my game with combat, money, health potions, and a shop. Now that I knew I could do that, I expanded on the idea. Fast forward 2 years of learning the engine and developing this project, I had an alpha version up on itch, and whilst I was very proud of it, it sucked. All of my code was written terribly, as at the time, I barely knew what I was doing. So after trying to expand on the project, I decided it was time to start anew. First thing I did was make an inventory system, based on Reed's channel's spatial inventory system, but I've rewritten all of the code, so despite it looking exactly the same, it works very differently on the inside. Something I always wanted was fast, interesting combat. I'm not a fan of games that allow you to open your inventory to pause and heal, not to mention that from a game dev perspective, it makes it quite hard to balance fights. But with that being said, Zelda Breath of the Wild's combat is snappy and fun and quite unforgiving, requiring quick thinking as well as speedy reflexes. I've been doing some animation blocking, as I want to use motion tracking potentially for my real animations. As you can see, so far I can dodge and attack. I'm still playing around with the system, so a lot of it is subject to change if it doesn't feel good to play with. But the goal is that there will be 4 ways to attack. Pressing left click, holding left click, pressing right click, and holding right click. And not to mention combo chain attacks, like 3 left clicks for 3 different sword swings. I've been trying to use some animations off Mixamo, but because of that I've had to track the animations onto a different rig, and funnily enough, everything works flawlessly except for the hands, which need to be perfect as that dictates the way the weapon is facing. And looking back at the original animations, you can see a bit of an issue. They're not very accurate to a real sword swing, cutting off limbs and not even swinging the sword sometimes. Man, I won't have to make my own animations. Look how insane these animations are. Anyway, the way the weapon works is I have 2 states of the animation and 1 notify point. This first bar, called the attack state, activates the collision of the weapon. This second one activates the combo state, where if you click during the combo state, it will play the next attack at the combo point, which is generally right after the swing animation ends to stay fluid. Same with this one. And the last one doesn't need a combo state or point, as it is the last in the sequence of the combo. Now that the animations are made, I just need to do a little coding magic and bam, you can now do combo attacks with the sword. I know what you're thinking, it looks horrible, but it works quite nicely, so I'm happy with it for the prototype stage of my game. Also, when you dodge, it breaks your attack, so that you have to re-equip your weapon to be able to attack again. So I'll need to fix that. If you're interested in seeing how this goes, subscribe to stay up to date, I'd really appreciate it. And now that you're all caught up on this game's progress, I'll be releasing more proper devlogs in the future. Thanks for watching.